back to the book. There is more skill than one might think in making poor dispositions intentionally, but one must be able to change them into good ones in an instant. So he's talking about how you set yourself up in a bad position only to let the enemy try and maneuver on that, but you're waiting for them until you're ready and do something. You change your position and do something good. Like in jiu-jitsu, when you let someone set up a triangle, but you're just trying to pass their guard.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Nothing is more disconcerting to the enemy. He has counted on a certain thing, has disposed himself accordingly, and at the instant of attacking, it has changed. So this is pretty cool, right? This is a good thing to remember. I like what he talked about is psychological effect that it has on the enemy. So the enemy sees something, they expect something, they want something to go a certain way, so they arrange themselves for it, and then right when they're getting ready to execute it, they realize it wasn't what they thought. And he says there's nothing more disconcerting. And I'd say that's true with a person too. You know, with the unexpected is what disturbs people, especially. You see this all the time in MMA, where a guy gets close to a submission, and then the other guy gets out, and he expended so much energy. You can see the moral draining from their face when it happens.
It's bad. I get that sometimes.
Do you?
Sometimes.
He goes on. I repeat, nothing confuses him so greatly and leads him into more serious faults. If he does not change his disposition, he will be defeated. And if he changes them in the presence of the enemy, he will still be defeated. Human spirit cannot meet it. I'm trying to think of how that affects someone's psyche. Oh yeah, it definitely affects you psychologically. Like you throw you think you're gonna get this person in the triangle, you put it on there, and then all of a sudden, boom, you realize it's not just that you missed the triangle, it's you realize that you got played.
You got set right up.
And that doesn't feel good. And that can definitely hurt your morale.
Yeah, big time.
That's a little different than just missing the move. When you realize you got set up for that.
It messes up your whole game. So you roll with stilts, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's I don't want to say that's his whole game, but that's his game right there. So like if you go, side control or mount or whatever, he has dangerous moves.
He wants you there.
Yes, exactly right. So it's like, and every once in a while you get rolling with him like kind of hard. It'll seem like he's trying to defend the mount, but he's really letting you think that you got the mount, right? Because if someone's letting you mount, know they're letting you mount.
Yeah.
And if they're gonna spring some sort of a trap, it's gonna be more obvious if they're letting you do it. But you get him where he kind of lets you do it to the point where you don't realize he's letting you. You just got, and then again, then after a while he keeps doing stuff like that too. You're like, bro, I don't even really want to do anything to him because he's just gonna set me. This is just a bunch of traps right now. So it messes up your whole game. You can't do anything. On your own accord though. It's not like he's preventing you from doing anything. It's like you're preventing yourself now.
That's a situation you have to deal with.
But actually, I figured it out. I figured out I didn't figure it out. I figured out a method to deal with just that whole scenario with him, by the way. And he even like asked me afterwards. So I was like, I was going hard, and I was, how you get real like weary, like, okay, I know he's going to send me. So it was real uneventful roll. So I was like, hey, let's go roll again. And then I just loosened up and basically allowed him to spring whatever trap he wants. And he did all this stuff, and he was like, hey, you were rolling a lot lighter in that time. I was like, no, bro, I'm trying to turn on the lights to all your traps that you set, So it's kind of like that thing. It just comes with like the type of training. Like you can't regard the training as a competition.
You
got to go in and be like,
otherwise you are not learning anything.
Yeah. But man, in a war battle or in a competition scenario, it's like it'll mess you up big time.
I'm trying to think if I ever got played like that on the battlefield. Sometimes we'd hit a target, and it was real obvious that we had been, I wouldn't say set up, but like there's no one there. Like clearly the information that we got was wrong, and you'd be kind of like, dang, you know. Be like, man, that wasn't good. Yeah,
and really on a real rudimentary level, that's what an IED is. It's like they want to make it look like a trash can or a regular something you have to address or something like that. A place where you have to go anyway. The road, I don't know. Whatever. On a real simple level, that's kind of what that is. So now you're like, shoot, now we got to be weary of everyday things, normal protocol. We got to be weary of that.
Yeah, that's a digger on the psychology for sure.
Yeah.